Welcome to the Good Reading Magazine podcast. Good Reading is a monthly magazine dedicated to books and reading and aims to help readers discover their next favourite book. You can find out more about the books discussed on today's podcast at goodreadingmagazine.com.au.
Sarah Di Lorenzo is a qualified clinical nutritionist with over 20 years' experience in health science. As well as running a Sydney clinic, Sarah is a public speaker and media nutritionist, appearing regularly on Channel 7's Sunrise program. Sarah is also the author of several best-selling books, including The 10-10 Plan, The 10-10 Recipe Book, The 10-10 Kickstart, and The Gut Repair Plan. Today I'm talking to Sarah Di Lorenzo about her new book, The Liver Repair Plan. Sarah, welcome to the Good Reading Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this chat.
Let's talk about the liver.
Yes.
Where is it? What is its function and how does it work?
The liver, the unsung hero. I absolutely am so excited about sharing this information because I don't think we talk about it enough. So the liver is a wedge-shaped organ, and it's actually the second largest organ in the human body, second to the skin, and it actually sits in the right upper quadrant of our abdominal. So it's sort of this kind of beautiful, rustic, sort of burgundy color organ, weighs about 1.5 to 2 kilos, so it's quite considerable. It has so many functions in the human body, and just to go through just a few of them. So for starters, detox. So everything that goes on our skin enters our mouth, goes into our digestive system, will go into our blood supply, and will be fed straight into via the portal vein into our liver to be detoxed. So just think about that next time you eat, of that function right there. It filters 1.8 litres of blood every minute. So Greg, while you and I are sitting here, we've already filtered litres of blood. Think about it that way. It maintains blood pressure, it maintains blood glucose, it plays a role in hormone production, in cholesterol, it plays a role in blood clotting, healthy red blood cells. It's like a little pantry. It stores vitamins and minerals. It produces bile to break down fats, but as well, the liver also, and this is a really important one that I talk a lot to my patients about, understanding our liver. It has a huge role in our metabolism. Metabolism means, breaking down something to be utilized by the human body. If it is carbohydrates, to be broken down to glucose, or proteins to be broken down to amino acids, the liver plays a huge role in that. So it's constantly filtering, constantly detoxing. It is the hardest working organ, and it's absolutely incredible. So think about all of those functions I've just discussed, and think about, if they're compromised, how that can impact your health as a person. I think about it now when I think about what we talk about in the health space, what you see in the news cycle. And we talk a lot about diabetes or blood pressure, and you hear about, obesity. You can hear it, those kind of things, cardiovascular disease. No one's really talking about this really important organ that does so much for us, is so wonderful, so incredibly forgiving, and so incredibly hardworking.
As a clinical nutritionist, what are some of the questions you might ask a new patient in order to gauge the state of their liver and also their general health?
So every patient that comes into my clinic has to bring blood tests. Like, that's just, I can't start a consultation without blood tests because I need to know where I'm starting from. And so they're absolutely essential. So for some of the key things I look for when I'm looking at someone's liver health, I'll look at vitamin D straight away. People with fatty liver disease have got really low vitamin D. That's the one thing that I look at. But I look at, in particular, the blood test to look at the liver function. And what really got me into writing this book was I noticed, so even though people see me, I might have people see me for other reasons like osteoporosis or menopause or migraines. Honestly, Greg, I couldn't get over the amount of disease I was seeing. So there's particular enzymes like AST, which is alanine transaminase. There's AST, which is aspartate transaminase. These are enzymes that play roles in like breaking down protein. Bilirubin, it's a byproduct of red blood cells. GGT, gamma glutamyl transferase. They're all enzymes that play a role. But what I noticed was these were coming up in blood tests. Now, They might be very mild, and they in a blood test, which shows that the liver's got some disease, right? Because it's dumping these into our blood, which is the bleeding. But the thing, when I did the deeper dive into this, I was discovering that for the liver to be doing this, the damage has been going on for decades. So that it's, you don't just get this like you go out and, go and get drunk and eat a whole lot of crap food and bang, there's that. This takes a long time to get to that point. And so that's one thing I'll always look at, but little physical things I can look at to see if someone's got any kind of liver disease, things like hair loss, weight gain, abdominal fat, weight loss. They might also have bad breath. I can see when they walk if they've got shortness of breath, white nails, spoon-shaped nails. They're little things like that I kind of notice, but I talk to these people, and the questions I ask them if I think they've got liver disease is one of the first questions I'll ask them in the clinic is, how's your sleep? And they'll be like, oh, I toss and turn all night and I go to the bathroom a couple of times, and I'll ask them the time. What time do you wake up? And if it's anywhere between sort of 1 and 2 a.m., bang, I know straight away they've got liver disease, because if you look at the liver as it relates to the circadian rhythm, that is the time the liver is in its peak detoxing, when we're supposed to be in our deep sleep. If your liver's struggling and hurting, it actually wakes you up. I might ask them things like, how's their memory, mood? People can get mood changes. They can have behavioral changes. I'll ask them about their urine. I know if the urine's super dark, I can see liver disease. I'll say, what can we talk about your gastrointestinal tract? Tell me a little bit more about your stool. Oh, if the stool's white or pale, straight away I know they've got liver disease. I might ask how much often they pass wind, and they might say, oh, I've got a little bit of IBS and whatever. But if someone's got some unexplained flatulence, extra flatulence can be linked to liver disease. Bloating, digestive issues, they'll have that digestive discomfort, and they figure that the digestive comfort could be like an IBS kind of situation as well. So they put it straight to gut. But as I talk about in the book, our gut, everything of our gut, like I mentioned before, goes through the portal vein to our liver. So if you think of gut health isn't great, it impacts liver health. It works together. So if they've got gut issues, it's telling me as well that they've got liver issues as well. So they're the things I can look at.
How repairable is the liver, and what are the main factors that might contribute to liver repair?
The liver is so forgiving, and it takes years and years and years of abuse of the liver and a liver assault to show that the damage has been done. Something else interesting, we can actually chop off 90% of our liver and leave 10% in our body, and it actually will regrow. So when we start seeing things, and I mean, look, everyone's different when it comes to liver disease, but you will see things, first of all, the liver will start having some inflammation. Then the next step of liver damage is fibrosis. Then it will go into cirrhosis. Fibrosis is the beginning of scarring, which can be reversed. And then there is cirrhosis, which is scarring, which is really hard to reverse. I have reversed cirrhosis in my clinic. It did take me 12 months. And that beautiful lady, I've written about her in the book as one of my many case studies that are in the book. And then you get further just where the liver's completely beyond cirrhosis and it's cancer. So it does have a breaking point.
Let's talk about some of the factors, some of the inputs, I suppose, and how they might affect liver health and liver function. We'll talk about diet in a moment. But when most people start thinking about the liver, alcohol would be one of the things that comes to mind first. Most people will be aware of the effects of alcohol on the liver. There are lots of differing opinions and recommendations around the consumption of alcohol, which only gives rise to more questions, of course. Binge drinking, drinking in moderation, daily drinking. Is there any amount of alcohol consumption that could be regarded as safe or appropriate?
When it comes to alcohol, the latest findings are, and the most recent findings are, it used to be 7 units for women per week, 14 units per week for men. But the latest research is that there is really no safe amount of alcohol for the liver. I'm a complete realist with my patients. If I told everyone who ever came my way never to drink alcohol, no one would listen to me. So I do think that people will still drink, even if they know that. I know people who have had breast cancer who still choose to drink. People will make that choice. So I always say to people, just try and keep it under 7 units for women per week, 14 units per week for men, because anything above that 7 or 14 is just seen as way too much. So it's a tricky one because, you've got to really understand the nature of humans as well, and what people's lives are and their work and what their beliefs are. I mean, we've also got the Mediterranean diet, which has always told us to drink red wine for years and years and years. There's a lot of different information there, but anything in moderation is okay, but the best is to avoid it altogether.
Let's talk about another important liquid, much healthier one, water. Why is it so important to a healthy liver?
Can I tell you right now how many people don't drink enough water? Seriously, if you ask people how much water do you drink, and they might say, "Oh, I have tea and coffee and occasional herbal tea," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's dehydrating you." The liver needs to be hydrated, and we need to be having 30 mils of water per kilo of our own body weight to know what our optimal amount of water is. The 2 liters was based on people should have 2,000 calories a day. They should match that with 2 liters of water, which was the equivalent of eight glasses. We are all different shapes and sizes, so I always say for optimal amount, it's 30 mils per kilo of your own body weight. It's been shown to give people adequate hydration, but it is a massive organ of filtration. It needs to be well hydrated to work properly and function properly, as we do as humans. So water is absolutely crucial. I always encourage people to start their day on a huge tumbler of water. Put a little bit of lemon in if you like, whatever it is. It's more about the water, not about the lemon, but starting your day with hydration and to support that filtration process is incredibly important.
Let's get back to diet. Your list of best foods for liver health gave me a lot of confidence. It's a list of some of my favourite foods: mango, watermelon, apples, figs, beetroot, even celery. And I love my muesli for breakfast. But there are many others on your list. What foods are most beneficial and what kinds of foods should we limit?
When you're looking at liver health, I mean, if there is a long list in there, because when I was putting it together, I was looking at it going, oh, the beetroot's got betaline in it. It's so important for liver health. And I was looking at coriander, which supports liver detox. And then you can look at all the fiber of different vegetables, or the good fats that you find, and the omega-3s you can find, and vitamins and minerals and vitamin C and zinc and everything that you can find in the foods. I've got a little bit of a short list in there. Number one, I love cruciferous vegetables because they do support the detox pathways. Cruciferous vegetables are really good. So that's things like cabbage and Brussels sprouts and cauliflower, as well as broccoli. So they're all really good ones too. So you obviously are eating a fair bit of those? Yes.
I do. I'm trying to get my mother to eat more kale, but she's not very good at it.
Kale's tricky because it's coarse. So I always say cooked kale's okay. Chop it up and throw it in a soup. It just doesn't go in a salad. It's tricky in a salad unless you finely dice it.
I've got to disagree with you there because I spoke to a grower, I think she might be Italian, who suggested that you marinate it in olive oil and lemon juice overnight, in fact, which softens it, and garlic, I think.
Interesting one, but it is tricky. Kale's a tricky one to cook. But yes, so all the cruciferous vegetables are really good. Omega-3 that you can find in things like, your fatty fish, as well as like sardines. And if you can eat mackerel, anti-inflammatory foods, whole grains are really important to support detox pathways, complex carbohydrates. An easy kind of way to think about it is food that's in its whole real form. There really wouldn't be, if you look at real foods and whole foods, there really wouldn't be anything that wouldn't I would say not to eat, that's actually like, if it's your fruits and vegetables, it's your whole grains, it's your good fats, and it's definitely that focus on those cruciferous vegetables to support detox pathways. A lot of anti-inflammatory foods as well, just things like, adding spices like turmeric to things, ginger, garlic's amazing as well. I think you mentioned before garlic, that you loved. Pineapple's anti-inflammatory. You've got lots of your citrus, your vitamin C, vitamin D rich foods, mushrooms. There's just everything. I mean, there's a few key stars there. Avocado is wonderful as well. It's got the fiber in it. It's got the good fats in it. The walnuts as well. A lot of really good fats in the walnuts. What's bad for our liver? Number one, alcohol, far above at the top of the list. Processed foods, fatty foods, sugary foods. Now, when we're looking at liver disease, and I'm going to talk about liver disease as far as fatty liver disease, which is what we're seeing 1/3 of Australians and actually 1/3 of adults have globally now. I'm not talking about alcoholic liver disease. I'm not talking about genetic conditions of the liver, and I'm not talking about anything autoimmune. I'm talking about diet related. We call it MASLD. It used to be called non-alcoholic fatty liver. and it's now been named, the name was changed in the middle of 2023, which was really important to change that name because there was a lot of stigma around it. It's an acronym for metabolic dysfunction, which is our, metabolic health has a dysfunction associated with steatotic liver disease. Steatotic means fatty liver disease. So basically poor diet and lifestyle choices are making the liver fatty. The number one driver of fatty liver disease is insulin resistance. Now, what drives insulin production is way too much glucose. Where does all that come from? Sugary, fatty foods, refined foods, fatty cuts of meat, takeaway, deep fried things, but it's mainly sugar. Everything that we know that's junked and processed and packaged, your liver has to work really hard. You can't even really consider them a food. They're sort of food-like substances.
Vitamins and minerals are, as we know, essential to a healthy diet and a healthy liver, but you also write about vitamin and mineral supplements. Do they have a place in good liver health? But what should we be wary of?
That's such a great question because we do live in a world where that particular industry is so lucrative. People are obsessed with vitamins and minerals and buying them as supplements because they do truly believe they can replace. They think, oh, well, I haven't been eating that well, so I'll just take a multivitamin. It will make up for everything. And so we actually find that there are people taking multiple supplements, right? And I actually looked at some recent research and it showed that toxicity to the liver in 20% of those drug-induced toxicity of the liver, which we can see the liver being impacted by medications and recreational drugs, etc. But we're now seeing 20% of liver injury is actually coming from supplement abuse. So you have to understand, and I take supplements. I truly believe in taking supplements, but I only ever believe in taking what you really need. And always make sure that you consult with a healthcare practitioner because some of my patients, they will take photos of their pantry of supplements. And I'm like, your poor liver has to process all of that. What do you really need? Even pharmaceutical medications can have a massive impact on the liver. And there was research that came out this week showing that Ozempic is causing huge liver injury. Before everyone was going, oh, Ozempic's amazing, it's reducing fatty liver. And what they're discovering now is the constant use of Ozempic is completely now assaulting our livers. So, and the liver, remember I told you, the liver plays a huge role in metabolism. Think about all the people who are trying to lose weight on Ozempic now assaulting their liver.
There are a lot of quick fixes available to us these days, including rapid liver cleansers using cleansing products. What's your advice on these products?
There's no such thing as a liver cleansing product. They are out there. People could do these skinny teas and tinctures and they don't work. You want to detox your liver and you want to really focus on that. Reduce your stress. Exercise for a minimum of 150 minutes per week. Focus on good quality sleep. Eat a healthy diet. Give up alcohol and make sure you're getting some vitamin D every day because the liver loves vitamin D. And I always say to people, try get out in the sun or go out and try and get at least 2,000 IU a day of vitamin D. But the best way to detox your liver is healthy eating, regular exercise, good quality sleep, stressing less, eating healthy, and all of those wonderful liver-loving foods, avoiding alcohol and staying hydrated. That's a liver detox.
You devote the final section of this book to a 4-week liver repair plan, along with a series of recipes that you've devised. But what are the steps in that plan that might lead us to better liver health?
I love this plan. So I put a lot of thought into the best way to do this. Now, this 4-week plan is for anyone who has got any kind of liver disease. It's not specifically for people who need to lose weight. So that's a point I want to make out. So it's all about everything that your liver loves. It's got a lot of lifestyle recommendations throughout. I've created these incredible tonics for each week. Week 1, because we want to really support detox pathways, loading the liver up with gorgeous nutrients, nutrient-dense meals. Once we're kind of supporting that, then we want to drive down any kind of inflammation that's going on. So week 2, I've got lots of anti-inflammatory foods. So it's all about reducing inflammation and healing. Week 3 is a focus on feeding the liver all the foods that it loves. So like the key foods in the list of foods in the book. And then week 4 is bringing it all together, all the different concepts together. So it's a bit of a mix of everything to really show people what a liver healthy diet looks like moving forward. And so that's kind of the concept behind it, but it's gorgeous recipes. It's nutrient dense. It is delicious. And the whole idea of it is to really just understand how to feed your liver well and just be present and be mindful and really look at everything as a holistic approach, because I do mention a lot of lifestyle recommendations all through that, encourage exercise, sleep, stress, address, that's all part of the 4-week plan as well. So I'm incredibly proud of it. I've been running it in my clinic for a while, and I've had huge clinical success with it. And you know what, Greg, it's so exciting to know how many people this book's really going to help.
What do you advise beyond that 4-week plan?
My advice to them is it depends where their health status is, because a lot of people say to me, I've done the 4-week plan, where to now? And the thing is, I say to them, well, where is your health at? You've done the 4-week plan. Is your goal to lose weight? And I move them on to my 10-10 program, which is my 10-week weight loss program. They might want to support their gut health a little bit more because they might have gut issues that they haven't resolved. So I'll move them on to my gut repair plan. My advice is to really think about these programs that I've written, because they're a way of life. So I write about maintenance programs, and my advice moving forward is to see how you can look at these dietary guidelines and principles and embrace them and make them a way of life, because you will never look back. You will get to a healthy weight. You will feel absolutely incredible. You will feel vitality, clear skin, good mood, clear thinking, better sleep, better energy, long-term health and wellness, longevity, healthy relationship with food, understanding food more. And you can embrace it and look at these guidelines and dietary principles and make them a way of life. That's what I've done my whole life. They're based on what I practice and preach and how I live my own life. And I feel all of that, and I want to share it with everyone.
Thanks so much, Sarah, and thanks for joining me on the Good Reading podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. We're talking about one of my favorite subjects, the liver, that is no longer going to be the background character in health and wellness. It's going to be the star of the show.
I've been talking to Sarah Di Lorenzo about her new book, The Liver Repair Plan. It's published by Simon & Schuster, and you can find it at goodreadingmagazine.com.au. My name's Greg Dobbs, and thanks for listening. Subscribe to Good Reading print and online magazine at goodreadingmagazine.com.au.